Yeah, well, what a great event. So it was a great evening yesterday evening, and I had lots of great discussions today. And there's a statement of our founder, Michael Dell, and he is saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, leave the room. And I can tell you, I can stay here for quite a long time. So that's a great audience. So I'd like to start with a proverb. Maybe everybody might know this. If the Muhammad is not coming to the mountain needs to come to Muhammad. And if you're looking at this, so if you need to move truckloads of mountains then to the next country, to the next wisdom, what happens then to this mountain? If there's some wisdom in some other country, would you move your mountain again? So, and you just realize it's not a religious discussion. I don't want to start here. Please not. It's more about your most important assets, the mountain, the data, and the wisdom you're going to use, your AI models, and how it's more important to bring your wisdom to the mountain, so your AI model to the data, than vice versa. So Dell Technologies, and I got lots of questions over the last hours. What is Dell Technology actually doing? Are you really in that space? And probably one third of the data and one third of the compute you're already using is running on our platforms and our infrastructure. So we are in the middle of this, and this is one of our strategic pillars we are using here. So AI itself, it's nothing new. So since decades, data scientists are working to make better outcomes, making better decision, detecting better patterns. But the real wave hit us 2 years ago, and we saw lots of investments over the last time. And infrastructure matters in that space. So the first time you can use human language as interaction with AI, and that really changed the market. And why I'm saying infrastructure matters, if you're looking at a typical application, just like an ERP, SCM, SAP, whatsoever, let's say this has the compute consumption of factor 1. If you're then looking to traditional AI, this might have the compute consumption of factor 100. If you're then looking at generative AI, this is then times 1,000 and more. So you really see a high need of infrastructure, and this needs to be handled. And what I saw over the course of the last 2 years, never before we had that amount of investments in the world in technology. We saw triple-digit investments in infrastructure to power big generative AI projects, triple-digit investments, a couple of those, but you don't see them in Europe. You just see them in North America. You see them in APJ. So the world is creating new foundational models. And these investments are not here in Germany and in Europe. However, if I'm looking at the experiments, and I will still call it experiments, what customers did over the course of the last 2 years, they experimented with AI models, they made investments, and the number of investments made in Germany, made in Europe, this is leading edge. So it always feels that we are far behind in doing something, but I really see that German engineering is advancing this technology and really using it, and the adoption in Germany definitely is there. So things can go wrong, and this is also what we learned over the course of the last 18 months. You saw lots of examples where intellectual property were lost due to AI models which are publicly available. So Amazon lost critical data just because employees put these data into ChatGPT, and others were able to look at the materials of Amazon. Same thing at Samsung, same thing with privacy issue. Every software can be buggy, and so a ChatGPT model can be buggy, and you may lose critical sensitive data. And also, you see that the data which is fueling your AI model might be biased. So if you have made bad decisions in a corporation for a couple of time and using these data to feed your AI, the finance request from a customer might be directed just because his name, and this is happening in modern AI already. And also, you shouldn't believe anything you read into ChatGPT. There is a famous example of that lawyer who just researched his president's cases and brought them to court. And this was an excellent example of things which are not true, and if you're using a ChatGPT and the system is just hallucinating. So, in another example, an MIT student just asked to make her headshot more professional and ended up to be lighten up her skin and adding blue eyes. So we have lots of things to learn, and we are still learning, and lots of companies learned about this. And 43% of the companies interviewed in that Innovation Catalyst study said, we are going to run our AI rather on-premise than off-premise. We are going to not allowing our employees to put data into public available chat models. We want to run them on-premise. And exactly 78% of these customers said, okay, we want to have these capabilities running AI models on-premise where our data are. And there are good reasons for doing that, bringing your AI to your data. So whenever, and these are at one point technical reasons. So you see there are physical limits. You can't exceed the speed of light. So whenever data are moved from A to B, it takes 130 milliseconds for light to go around the world. So if you have lots of data on the one side, if you have an application who is depending on these data and using lots of those, there's latency. So that's one technical thing. The other thing, whenever you're moving data, it costs you money. It costs you lots of money. So there are good reasons for having them also in your own data center or bringing AI where your data are. And the other experience or the other insight we get that most of the customers are already ready to have AI in their edge. So that's the biggest use case we see. And Gartner is saying that 75% of the data will be created in the edge. What's the edge? That's the place where you have your most valuable value creation within the company. It's the production line, it's the storage building, it's the farm where you're producing your crabs. So lots of data are produced in the edge, and you will have inferencing, and you will have AI models somehow running in the edge of the enterprise. So let's go into use cases, and there are and to be honest, there are just a couple of shuffle-ready use cases you can really use already in enterprise. There's lots of experimentation, and you see large language model among all sizes. And we are just at the beginning of that journey. So one analogy, if you're looking at the usage of internet today, so you have lots of e-commerce, you have voice over IP, you have streaming, you have all these kind of stuff. That's a trillion industry at this point in time. On the other hand, where we have been 30 years ago, email. So that's how it was starting. And with large language models, we are also at the email moment at this point, and we are accelerating at pace. And we run this not only in large language model, we are using large models on scale, and we see that these models will run everywhere, in your private data center, in your hybrid environment, at the edge, in the cloud, and also on your PC. And these are also some use cases we see that you're using neural processing engines within your end user device and running your models there. So how is Dell Technologies coming into this game? So how we are applying AI. First of all, we are embedding this in our products. We're making products better. We automate them more. We're making better predictions. And we're also helping other OEMs making their products with AI better, because we are excellent in engineering our own products. Second thing, and that's the most important part for us, it's running AI on our portfolio. As I said, more than 30% are already of the worldwide AI technologies already running on Dell Technology infrastructure. And infrastructure is not a piece of cake. It's just lots of products. You need to interact with each other. That's a big use case. You really have to look at it. Other thing is using AI for us. So Dell Technologies, after we're turning 40 years this year, we have the biggest innovation process happening right now in our company. We're using AI in lots of process in lots of areas, in HR, in legal, in our supply chain, helping sales, helping marketing. So we have lots of experience how to use it ourselves. We share this experience with our partners, with our customers. So that's a big journey. We are on ourselves on it right now. And the other thing is, we don't have the monopoly on innovation. This is just working with a huge ecosystem of partners, and we have one of the biggest AI ecosystems in the industry. So let's go to the next level. That's the wisdom we need to use. And there's a very simple equation. I'd like to make things simple. So what wisdom are you choosing for your corporation? You have to choose it based on what value are you willing to take out of this, and what are you willing to invest? And most customers made this already. It just took an pre-trained model, downloading it from Hugging Face, installing, executing it behind your firewall, and you go for it. So that's a very simple approach, but there's not a lot of value in this. So these generic models, they don't know your company, and even bigger models don't help you to make decisions better within your company. They might have better answers. They have maybe flowery languages, but the bigger the model, it doesn't really necessarily help for your business outcome within your company. So you need to bring your data to your model, and this is what's happening with technologies like RAG and others you heard already today. And this is about model augmentation. Then you are opening up models, fine-tune them, adding other language, bring the culture of your company into this model. So this is the sweet spot where we see most companies right now are investing, and we are heavily using model augmentation within our own company. And then model training. There are just a few companies in the world who are really making model training, and there are very few in Europe sitting. So that's the overview of the wisdom you can use. But more important is basically coming from a code-centric model to a data-centric model, because data are really the fuel who's accelerating this rocket. So we see lots of customers going to smaller models. We're also doing this, like Mirantis, Falcon, choosing that model. But more important than the model is the data. And there we are really looking into what kind of highly quality labeled data we can use for this process. And in the end, how you are coming to these better labeled data. And we are creating a framework, a platform for our customers to really have and we call it Dell AI Ready Data Platform. And what we are doing here is connecting to open ecosystems, be it we're using analytics tool like Teradata, using your Slack streams, logging into a Power BI. So using all the data sources you have today in your company, adding ML workflows you have already in your company, and using all the data you already have created in your cloud ecosystem. So it's not about copying data and creating another silo. It's about connecting to all these sources and make the work for your data scientists better. And by using these platform, data science save up to 80% of their time really looking into, hey, what are the data I need for this use case? So let's say you're filling bottles, and the pepper on the bottle is not always on the right place. So what do you need to do? Is you need to have a small application. You want to use AI to really identify, okay, what can I do better in this edge use case? So you need data maybe from HR, which people have been on the conveyor belt. What are the sensors are saying who are actually on these machines? What is the outcome? What was the quality of the glass we got so far? So you have to connect lots of information, and this platform is helping the data science to get the right information from the right department, having kind of a governance model behind that. And most of these information are sitting still within your own company. So we're building a data lakehouse, structuring these data, and this is the base for having a good working RAG process. And this is also powered by AI infrastructure. So you really need to have a good server technology be underneath that. You need to have a good storage technology underneath this to make this working. And because infrastructure, as I said, is not a piece of cake, we're helping our customers with validated design. So that's kind of a cookbook where you're starting your AI journey, how to create these capabilities within your own data center. And these actually one of the capabilities customers need to search or need to create the capability of have kind of a cloud who's able to provide large language models, having this kind of data lake, having a gateway to manage the access, and really identify who's using what, who's able to choose what. So creating these ability to do that. So far, we see that lots of customers are still experimenting. They're still experimenting what's possible, what we are doing. And we are now getting into the next stage where we learn from this whole experimentation. And customers who didn't start yet, they should start, because the most important thing is to fail, to really to understand what's going wrong in these projects. How can I make this a rhythm of, okay, I have a business problem. How can I fix this? What are the data included? What model should I use? And providing a platform to enable your data scientists, your developers to go there. So what's the approach where Dell Technologies can help to go into this investment? So this is a huge investment for most companies, and you need to right size this. So first of all, let's look at the focus area. And what we are doing, we are offering kind of accelerator workshops. We are defining the strategy. We are helping on matching the vision to the actual status quo, looking in the data. But the first step is really looking into the focus area. So starting in HR, starting in production, starting in R&D, and so on. Second level is really to look what are the use cases available already. And on average, every company in Germany has around 200 use cases already available, but they don't know how to use it. Is this use case really paying off? Is this use case really helping us in the future? So therefore, defining the right use case and then choosing the right wisdom, choosing the patterns. We're helping on this. And then at the third point, deciding what's the right platform underneath. So you need the right platform. Not everything needs a 4 or 8-way GPU cluster. You can also run some large language models on a workstation, on a laptop, and there you come into the situation of right sizing. So for instance, how massive this could be, the GPT model with 1.7 trillion parameters, it took 7,500 servers with 8 GPUs, which is 60,000 GPUs to calculate this GPT model with 1.7 trillion parameters. So that's a huge amount of infrastructure you need, but you don't always do model augmentation, model fine-tuning and the creation of foundation model. So in real life, you just have a good platform, a good cloud environment, which might be even smaller. And this is how we are helping, having validated design to really have the fast start into this environment. What are we doing with NVIDIA? So we are working very close with NVIDIA and building the fast path for creating your own AI factory. So having the capability to offer AI models, offering data platforms to your business operations, because most of the time these discussions are not starting within the IT, they're starting within the business departments, but these capabilities needs to be provided by companies' IT departments. So the AI factory is basically everything about model lifecycling. So something my pre-speaker just mentioned, which model to use. So you have a catalog of models. You're working with the life cycle of models. Which model is helping you for which use case? Are you training the models, tweaking them? You are inferencing these models using RAG. So this is a pick and choose portal you are using. You have services. We are working with your data sciences, leveraging our experience of many projects, helping you to get that way, using the NVIDIA Enterprise software underneath this to have this portal approach, using microservices, putting several LLMs into these microservices and run them on this environment. And in the end, you have the right infrastructure underneath that. And this infrastructure you are also consuming as a service, and you do it everywhere you need. So if you're creating lots of data in the cloud, you have this in the cloud. If you're doing this in your core data center, you do it there, and also in your edge environment. So we are helping you on every step of this journey. So Dell Technologies, we have the platforms, the expertise, and lots of partnerships to start this journey. And with a consultancy workshop of half a day, we are identifying where you are, where's the strategy you're going forward with, how can we help you on what step? If you are far advanced, if you have already models evaluated, if you have data science and just need to get the data governance right, okay, let's start there. If you're just at the beginning and create kind of capabilities, let's start with a strategy. We are helping you with our data science. We are helping you with the implementation. We're helping you with the day 2 operation and etc. And everything you see here, this is technology also produced in Europe. So we have another point here. It's not only data sovereignty. In Europe, you have all these infrastructure. You saw we're producing these in 3 fabs in Europe. We have also a big support team sitting in Halle. So we are the only company who's providing German-speaking support with 1,200 employees out of Halle. So this is a big added value for most of our companies we are working with. So I have lots of faith in what we are doing in Germany. The sheer number of experimental POCs, things we are doing already in the German market, that's promising. I see lots of big-sized customers. I see lots of governmental customers who are starting first POC. These hidden champions are mid-market customers. So we saw lots of experimentation in the market, and I'm pretty sure that this will scale. And we as Germany are really gaining competitive advantage out of this. So happy to be part of this journey, and thanks you very much.